can you have your ovaries and pancreas removed? So I'm not sure if you're asking specifically for me or the general public, so I'm going to answer this both ways. Personally, I have already had a hysterectomy because of some other things, but my ovaries were left in place, both the right and the left. When I first found out I had this gene mutation, it was actually my gynecologist that pushed me to get tested, and then she's the one who called me, and the first thing she said was, I know what you're going to do, but I'm not removing your ovaries until you get your breasts removed, because you can't be on hormones to prevent menopause or to deal with menopause. You wouldn't be really preventing it at that point. Until you have mastectomies, because it puts you at a higher risk for breast cancer than you already are. So, my first step is the mastectomy. Typically, according to research, the risk for ovarian cancer, we don't have to worry about it until I'm in my 40s. So I have 3 more years before I even have to, quote, deal with that. I still get my yearly checks. Sorry, my dog is moving. He thinks he's a lap dog. So yes, I can have my ovaries removed. Yes, a woman with this gene can have her ovaries removed, but she needs to make sure that she is 100% certain she's not having any more children. That is the big thing with that, because you will go into menopause. You don't have eggs anymore. You can't ovulate. You can probably have your ovaries removed and leave your uterus to have like in vitro or in utero insemination. I don't know what the research is on that, because you don't produce those hormones naturally anymore. But science is ever advancing, and I'm sure they could do something. I just wouldn't recommend it if you're not done having kids. As far as the pancreas goes, that's a complicated answer. Me personally, no, I'm not going to try to have my pancreas removed or anything like that. I think there have been studies where you can have it removed or part of it removed just because of a gene mutation, and I'm sure if you have all the money in the world, you can do whatever you want. But that would put you as a diabetic for the rest of your life. Something I'm not willing to do. I work my rear end off trying to stay healthy, and not do that because there's such a high incidence of diabetes in my family. Taking insulin multiple times a day every day is not for the faint of heart, and it's not something I want to do if I don't have to. So I will remain getting screened every year. There's not a lot of good screenings for this. The main one they say is to get a abdominal MRI with and without contrast, or an endoscopic ultrasound. The biggest thing to do is make sure you are not a smoker, don't drink heavily, have a normal BMI. These make it easier. The BMI makes it easier to identify problems when they arise and to find things early. But again, in the abdomen, you can't just look at it and say, oh, you have cancer. You have to have imaging for this. And pancreatic cancer does not come with a lot of warning signs or symptoms, especially in the early stages. I don't smoke. I don't drink heavily recreationally. I wouldn't even say that, occasionally. But those are things to discuss with your doctor. The other, having the imaging done, technically, again, I don't have to have until I'm in my 40s. We went ahead and started doing it, but it is recommended that you have it at a... Hello, Zeus. Hello. it is recommended that you have your pancreatic imaging and screenings done at a center that is high volume for pancreatic surgery. I live in Georgia, and there's only 2 in the state of Georgia. We're close to Alabama. There's, again, only 2 in the state of Alabama that are centers of excellence for the National Pancreatic Foundation. So if you do have a gene mutation that affects that, I would encourage you to get online, look at the National Pancreatic Foundation's website, find one near you, get your primary doctor to refer you to one of those doctors if that's possible for you, to begin having those screenings if you are at higher risk for this. So I hope that helps. Again, I'm not sure if you were asking specifically for me or the general public, but I tried to answer both. And my Weimaraner Zeus, who thinks he's a lap dog, says hello and goodbye.